Welcome to our intermediate card class for April 2019. Today our project isn't really that difficult. It's really quite basic stamping and colouring. I've just made an intermediate class because you will need to have a set of blends for it. And I know this is something that not everyone's got. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is to stamp my greeting image. And I know my piece of designer paper is 4.5 by 9.5, so it fits on the bottom just nicely like that. So what I'm going to do is actually line my cardstock up with my background. I'm going to lay this over the top. I'm just going to take a pen and mark my grid paper. That way I can move my designer paper out of the way. I know I'm not going to stamp on it and get it destroyed. And then I can bring in my stamp and I know roughly where that needs to go, so it's not going to actually end up pulling underneath designer paper. So I'm upside down. Let's try this way. So I'm going to go to a bit of an angle like this just to make sure it fits in that top section. There we are, nicely stamped. And while I'm here, I'm just going to go and put the actual sentiment in the middle as well. And try and line that up nicely. There we are. Alright, now put that ink aside. So the blends we're using are Calypso, no they're not, yes they are, Calypso Coral, light and dark, and Granny Apple Green, light and dark. So for what I'm going to do for the flowers, so I'm just going to use the bullet tip and I'm just going to quickly go over those lines with the dark. It's very basic colouring, this one. We're not wanting a lot of detail in here. I just want to give just some slightly darker areas in there. Of course, if you wanted to, you could do some more colouring than this. And I'm just going to come over with a light one and just colour the entire flower straight over the top of that dark. Almost done. Right, then we're going to use the light and dark Granny Apple Green. What I'm going to do with these ones, I'm just going to stick to using the light colour on this type of leaf, and then I'll use the dark colour on the other type of leaf. Again, if you wanted to put more detail in, you could. But this is a nice easy way to be able to use those two tones of colours without having to go in and do a lot of detailed colouring. Tones together nicely. Alright, so let's bring the dark one in onto this sort of leaf. And as you can see, because they're both the same colour but one's just lighter and darker, they're going to match nicely but still provide a bit of extra interest into your project. There we are. Nice and easy, very simply done. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add my designer paper straight onto here. I'm just going to use some multi-purpose glue for that. Don't need a lot of this glue, I like to just do a little squiggle right around the outside. And then if you give it a little wiggle once you're on, it just makes that glue spread out a little bit more and tack everything down perfectly. Next we're going to add our little sequin bow across there. Now you could add it with glue dots if you wanted to. I like to just grab my snail, flip it over, one little piece up either side. Make sure I got that one in the right spot. Down a little bit further. There we go. Then when I take my sequin piece, I can lie it flat across there and then just tuck it around, and it will tack onto the glue on the back. It's making a liar of me today, of course. Just like that. Now you can, if you want, actually pull off these extra little sequins from the ends to help it lie flatter before you do that. Like obviously before you glue it down. And then you can just tape that, actually I'm going to show you. So the sequins, you just grab hold of them and you can just slide them off. And then you just get left with the piece of cotton. And then when the cotton wraps around, it'll be a lot flatter. And of course you could save those little sequins to use on another project, or even to pop on the front. Right. Then we're just going to go onto our Calypso coral layer. There we are. And that, of course, is going to go onto our Blushing Bride card base, which I'm just going to give an extra score here. Flip it in the other way. And then because we're using a coloured base, I like to just open it up and put a white piece on the inside as well. Just gives you a nice clean area to stamp on, to write on. If you want, you could also stamp on that. Just pop maybe a couple of little flowers or something in the corner. Give you a little bit of extra. Or you just leave it as it is. And these little sequins you would pop on the front if you wanted. Just like that. And that's all for today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!